All right, friends, welcome back to the Strong Life Podcast. I believe we're on episode 529. In this episode, I'm going to do a little Q&A, answer a question that came in through the email. So if you guys are watching, it's hard to see my phone as I've got this background. And if you're listening, you could always go to YouTube or go to zachevanesh.com to catch all the visuals. A lot of times when I do these podcasts, I will add a video or a series of videos. They might be our latest training videos from the Underground Strength Gym, highlights, behind the scenes footage, and they might be videos from my Zach Evanesh Instagram. You can see my background here. I've got the original Westside Barbell. That's Bill Peanuts West. Check it out. Training on the Zubers plates, doing, we would call them today rack pulls, but he's pulling from the blocks. And then, of course, one of my favorite books, very simple book by Coach Bill Starr, Strongest Shall Survive. What a great book. And so I got two things. Number one, I want to talk about a phone call I had with a coach just now as I'm checking in on people who have opted in for information about Underground Strength Con. That's coming up November 15th and 16th. It is a life-changing experience. It really is, especially for coaches, for business owners. We're so tied down, almost anchored to our businesses. It's like having another job when you do it wrong. And so I called this coach up. We've got a long list of coaches who wanted more information. Number one red flag about a lot of coaches is they don't even know what they opted in. And I've said this before, but I never know if somebody's listening for the first time. If you are, welcome to the Strong Life Podcast. More of a movement than just a podcast about living that strong life in the gym, in your health, strength, and fitness, and having it transfer over to your life. A lot of the sports scientists talk about transfer of training. Transfer of training, does it make you better at life? Well, I think in life, people are living life the way they scroll through their phone. Every 5 seconds, scrolling, not paying attention to what they're doing. So many people went to undergroundstrengthcon.com, filled out the information, and didn't look at the website. They don't even know what it's about. They don't even know what speakers are there. And if you own a gym, that should be a big red flag for you and show you what people are doing when they go to your website, what people are doing when they look at your content. And I'm going to get into that whole content game later on. But I spoke with this coach, super nice guy, awesome guy. And he told me he had just got in his car and he has a job, a 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. warehouse job. And he's a gym owner and he's got staff. And he said, if my gym was doing better, I wouldn't need this warehouse job. And he said, tell me what it is that you have, who's speaking at Underground Strength Con, and what really is it about? I said, well, this is a gathering of strength coaches where we are learning from other coaches who are doing the damn thing. So I said, we've got Joe Ken, who's been NFL and Division I Strength Coach of the Year. We've got Ron McKeefrey, who was also voted Strength Coach of the Year. We've got Matt Wiedemer, who's got 3 locations plus a supplement business. Brian Bott opening 8 or 9 locations. Joe Riggio, Dan Goodman, Adam Menner, the Varsity House team. They've got multiple gyms with more gyms growing. And then you've got this guy, Zach Evanesh, your bro, your boy. And he started mentioning names of podcasts he's listened to. And I said, listen, my man, I love that you're going through podcasts, but what you're doing is consuming information and then nothing happens. You're listening to podcasts while you drive. You're scrolling through Instagram. I don't know, when or where you do it, but you're still struggling in your business. You don't need more ideas to confuse you. You need to come to Underground Strength Con and have a conversation with somebody while eating dinner or lunch with them. You need to get one idea from Matt Wiedemer or Brian Bott or somebody from Varsity House or myself, where you start, like, it gives you clarity in your business, and you might need to change one thing. Certainly, you probably need to change more than one thing, but a lot of times it is one thing that really starts moving the ball down the field. It really starts moving the needle. And he mentioned all these great podcasts and business owners, but he's still struggling. And I say this all the time, the missing link is skin in the game, number one. And number two, learning from people who are real And this is why I have a problem with the fitness industry. And I never felt like I'm part of the fitness industry. Fitness industry is all a facade. It's all the surface. It's all fake. Meaning, when I started the underground strength gym, my gym had battle ropes, sleds, tractor tires, stones, all this quote unquote hardcore stuff. But then we had to get away from it because that didn't look professional. Oh no, people are too intimidated. People are too scared. Well, now we see sandbags and body weight and all these cat farmer walks. Like Men's Health is writing these like crazy articles about farmer walks will change your life. Dude, I remember buying a VHS tape on Dan John. I think it was sold through the Jim Jones website, and it was all about sleds, carries, calisthenics. And that was well over 20 years ago. Here I am giving credit to Dan John, not saying I invented it, but why do people listen about that stuff? Look at Nsima Inyang. He's friggin' shredded to the bone. He's built like a Greek god. That's why people are listening to him. That information is not really new. He's putting a great twist on it. He's using Indian clubs, putting it together. But I always say, who's going to listen to Zach Evanish? I'm almost 50. I'm not built like a Greek god. And so they look at your surface and they judge you differently. Whereas if I was utilizing these training tools back when I was bodybuilding and didn't have any knowledge about this training, people would listen to me more and respect me more. That's the gist of it. The other thing that's interesting about it is, I said to our head coach, Nate, I said, if you're not strong AF and ripped to the bone, people don't want to listen to you. Well, I guarantee you there's a lot of people, coaches, lifters, who have injured themselves because they tried to do something that they weren't ready for, that they shouldn't have done, but they did it to just post it on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, wherever they post, just to try to impress people they don't know, to impress people that will never invest in their training courses or any of that. They might like your video, but that's it. And so I say oftentimes, say to lots of teenage athletes, I might hit a max deadlift twice a year, once every 6 months. Anything more than that, and I'm destroying myself. I might do the same thing with squatting, or it kills my knees. And the truth and the reality is, at age 49, almost 50 in 2 months, not even, holy crap, 6 weeks, I'm not as strong as I was in my 30s. That's just the reality, guys. But people don't listen to you. They want to listen to you if you've got some like extreme polarizing information. My boy John Wellborn always talks about that. That's why they have a saying with Power Athlete is battle the bullshit. And so Underground Strength Con is bringing in, of course, we've got coaches that are very well known. Joe Ken is extremely well known in the strength and conditioning world, but a lot of people don't know who Brian Bott is from Sports Advantage. Yet he's opening up his 8th or 9th gym. Some people know Matt Wiedemer. Matt is on the training camp, the training team for Johnny Bones Jones, UFC champion. He's worked with Stan Efferding and written business books and has a nutrition company. He purchased Perillo Sports Nutrition from John Perillo. That company was out when I was a kid. I was learning from John Perillo on American Muscle Magazine in 1989. That's how long back it goes. I wanted to bring in real people, not necessarily people who have the biggest following and don't have the knowledge. That is something I'm not interested in. So Underground Strength Con is giving you real strategies, real tools, real people. And what's going to happen is you're going to spend this weekend in New York. It's right on the border of New Jersey. Literally, it's like the next town over is 2 blocks away. It's called Alpine. It's a beautiful area. A lot of pro athletes live there. And so what's going to happen is this weekend, you get away. A lot of coaches feel bad. They're very busy. They don't want to leave family. There's 100 reasons why they're in their head they can't get away. But you're going to come back a better man, a better woman, a better coach, a better business owner. You're going to come back with a better team if you bring your team of coaches. They're going to bond together. They're going to break bread together. They're going to strength train together. They're going to learn training and business. And now things start building momentum. And a lot of times people just don't invest in their people. They don't invest in their business, but they are wasting inordinate amounts of time scrolling through social media, getting nowhere. And it's just, it's sad and heartbreaking to hear it. So there's a lot of coaches out there like that struggling. And I got to tell you, this background here with Bill Peanuts West, and I got to do a better job with a more clear, strongest shall survive background. But this background with Bill Peanuts West, the guy's training out of his garage, where you had George Friend, who was world renowned, was a thrower, a shot putter. You had Pat Casey, who was the first man to bench press 600 pounds. They were building some of the strongest men in the world training out of his garage in Culver City, California. Bill Peanuts West is the man who wrote these articles. Well, they interviewed him. Supposedly, he really struggled with writing and his words. He could barely spell his name, I heard. But they interviewed him for Muscle Builder and Power Magazine. And that's what Louis Simmons read when he was deployed in the army in Germany in the late 60s. So I have all these articles from 68 to 72. It's not on my desk right now. I'm staring at it. It was gifted to me from Jim Wendler. Best gift ever. And so undergroundstrengthcon.com. Just get there, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. Now, let's get into a training question. This training question comes from James. I'm not going to mention his last name. And let's open that up. Let's see. Good morning, Coach Evanish. I hope you are well and that your upcoming strength conference is filling up. I've emailed you a couple times over the years, and you always answer, and I thank you for the time and consideration, which I appreciate. I have a question for you today. I don't expect you to remember me, but I'm 65 years old this weekend. I've raised my kids in California. I've helped my son out with one of your wrestling courses when he was in high school. He's 29 now and successful, exclamation point. And my wife and I retired to the Florida Panhandle last year when California got too crazy. California, dang you. Anyway, I'm sure you've seen the videos of Pete Hegseth and Bobby Kennedy doing the 50 pull-up and 100 push-up in 10 minutes challenge for the military folks. I'm retired military myself, and I still do calisthenics every day. So I thought I would try the challenge this morning. Fail. I broke it up, 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, figuring out 1 set every minute, but I failed after 4 sets. I needed more rest in between sets. In other words, I could not keep up at each set on each minute pace. So 20 pull-ups and 40 push-ups total in 10 minutes. Here's my question. I know that contracting muscle takes ATP, that's adenosine triphosphate, which it gets from the muscle glycogen stores. I'm not sure of all these things, to be honest with you. I can't remember all the biology. And when you work a muscle to failure, it needs to replenish that ATP before it could go again. I expect that as I get older, that process is not as efficient in myself as the younger Marines in the videos. But do you think it can be improved upon? I'm pretty sure I could do the 10 sets if I were to do it over a couple of hours, like grease the groove training, which is more of my norm. But that doesn't allow me to get better at timed workouts. And I suspect that's a different kind of fitness. By the way, I noticed that Bobby and Pete don't really do full range push-ups and pull-ups. So there's that. I'm a stickler on form, chest to the ground, lock out the elbows on the up, or it doesn't count. But I would like to see if I could get closer to completing the challenge. If it's possible, can timed sets be improved upon? Question mark. Is it a good idea? Is it good to see this effort to improve our country's strength and fitness? Oh no, it is good. Thanks for your part in it. I read your emails every day. I know you're pushing hard on your coaching conference these days. Wishing you a full house. Hope your daughter is enjoying her first season at college. Best to all of your family. That's from James. James, you're the man. Let's answer the questions. Let's break it down. Number 1, yes, you could totally get better at doing time sets. And yes, it's much different than doing grease the groove. That is the law of specificity. If I want to get better at running, I've got to run. If I want to get better at push-ups and pull-ups, time sets, I need to do time sets. You might not be able to do it on the minute. Maybe you start out for a week or two doing them every 90 to 120 seconds. Maybe you break them up even across more sets. But grease the groove and doing strength training calisthenics, as we have a little bit of it. That's one of the days in bodyweight bodybuilding. We have strength-based days. That strength improves your muscular endurance. Muscular endurance does not really have a great impact on strength. The other thing you mentioned is Pete and Bobby Kennedy don't have the best technique. I agree. They did not have good technique. Half push-ups, half pull-ups. Technique is number one. I do like that they hopefully are inspiring the military to get more fit. I mean, the military should not really need to be inspired to get more fit. They should just understand it. And I love what John Welborn says with Power Athlete. He says, why do we not ever see Marines with a fat ass? It's because pull-ups are in their PT standards, and you can't be fat and able to do pull-ups. Most PT standards are push-up, sit-up, and running a mile. Those are great exercises. Why are we not adding pull-ups? And I do believe I saw, like, in court in the Senate or something, they called these things like harsh exercises. Pull-ups are damn good. There's nothing harsh about pull-ups. There is harshness about being weak, about being fat, about being lazy, about being incompetent and incapable. And so being strong is our duty in the military. It is our duty and obligation as men and as fathers, and especially, of course, as coaches. Now, how do you get to the 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups? Break it down even more. Maybe you're doing the first few minutes, you're doing the 10 push-ups, 5 pull-ups, but then after that, your pull-ups get broken down into 2 pull-ups, rest a minute, 3 pull-ups, and then on the next minute, you do your push-ups. The other thing that's going to help is strength training those areas. So dumbbell benching, dumbbell tricep extensions, a lot of band pull-aparts, and doing a day of weighted calisthenics. You mentioned you grease the groove, but maybe having a training session where you do weighted push-ups, weighted pull-ups. And at 65, you certainly can get better than where you are now. The thing is, you've been training, as you said, more grease the groove, long rest periods, or basically doing a set every few hours throughout the day. So specificity certainly has application. So what I would do is set a deadline. When do you want to achieve this by? Right now, it's the middle of October as I record this. Why don't you set the deadline for December 1st to be able to do those push-ups and pull-ups within 10 minutes? And what you do from there is reverse engineer your workout, and I think you will crush it. So I love push-ups and pull-ups. They should be part of every physical education program. They should be every part of every athletic program. Should be part of every men's training program. I've always said calisthenics keep you honest, because if you're struggling with calisthenics, it's a sign of one or two things. Either you're too weak and or you're too fat. And those two things usually go hand in hand. That's all I got for you guys. Make sure you go to undergroundstrengthcon.com. Check out all the sponsors, our partners who are helping us to make the event happen. Our headline sponsor / partner is Turnkey Coach. You go to turnkey.coach. It is a platform that started, and I've used it and still use it for online personal training. But now the guys at Varsity House are actually going to use it for their in-house personal training. It allows you to give client feedback where you could literally draw on the person's body. They could upload their video footage if you're doing remote training. You can have a chat with them in their profile, so to speak, and give them real-time feedback. The reality is, people are glued to their phone. And so I think about this a lot, and maybe somebody out there is listening, but for example, the Underground Strength Academy, which is undergroundstrengthcoach.com. I started the website. I launched it in February 05. So we're 21 years in. I began writing content the summer of 2004, 21 years ago. But people don't go on the website because it's not their phone. It's not an app. It's not their Instagram, their TikTok, their Facebook, their YouTube. And so the reality is, business today needs to have a heavy duty, heavily focused mobile aspect. It's got to be connected to the phone. I want to say one more thing before I shut it down. I'm going to be awarding Underground Strength Coach / SSP Coach of the Year. So some people have gone through both certifications. Some have only gone through one. But the Coach of the Year will be rewarded / awarded a prize one of the prizes from Ivanko Barbell or Intech Strength. And it's got to be a coach that I'm keeping up with, obviously, who's doing great things, changing lives. I've always said changing lives is the minimum effective dose of a coach, strength coach, sport coach. I take coaching very seriously because it's commitment to somebody's child, or it's a commitment to somebody else, an adult, and they're entrusting us to change their life, not just their health and fitness. They might come for that stuff on the surface, right? Hey, I want to be in better shape. I want to lose 10 pounds and have more energy. And then they realize everything you do changes them even more so internally. That's all I got for you guys. Undergroundstrengthcon.com. Remember what I said earlier. Spoke to that coach. Skin in the game. You're listening to this podcast just as he does, but he's struggling with business. He's got a warehouse job. He's got a team of coaches, and he's got to use the money from the warehouse job to pay them. Grow that business. Why? Because making more money allows you to change more lives. It allows you to expand your team. I'm still going to talk at this Underground Strength Con about the low hassle, high profit model. That's all I got for you guys. Undergroundstrengthcon.com. And by the way, we just added this. If you go to undergroundstrengthcert.com, that's the certification, there's a sign up form if you want 2 free videos. And we just hooked you up with that. So check out those 2 free videos. One of the videos is 90 minutes. It's an introduction to the barbell strength training. It's awesome. The other video is an excerpt from the Underground Strength System for combat athletes. And it's med ball training, some barbell training, some power training. Very, very good stuff. Undergroundstrengthcert.com. I'm out of here, guys. I appreciate you guys. Let's leave a review. Let's actually do a quick check. I'm going to do a quick look and see who has left the latest review on the Strong Life podcast, because I want to gift him or her with something. I can't remember the last time, by the way, that we've had a female leave a review, but I'm scrolling down. That's what you got to do on your phone. 620 ratings. Nice. Okay, we got a good one. Thursday from BR Boyd 21. I love Zach's podcast. Every time I listen to the podcast, I get fired up about training and getting better. And as a dad with kids in competitive sports, I love hearing his mindset on training young athletes. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experiences. That is very good. BR Boyd 21, send me an email, screenshot this. I'm sending you Bodyweight Bodybuilding, because that's what we just spoke about. I like this next one. Oh my God, this is a killer. This is a killer. I'm reading it. We're doing it. This is from Frankie V, 7281. Thank you, Frankie. As a 50-year-old father and stepfather, I've spent years watching my stepdaughter and countless others devote endless time, energy, and money to travel sports. Yet I've seen so many young athletes burn out, lose their drive, or break down physically. It's been frustrating as a parent and eye-opening as someone who loves training myself. I've always had a passion for fitness, but staying consistent has not always been easy for me. Listening to the Strong Life podcast has completely reignited that fire for me. Let's go, baby. I'm fired up reading this. Zach's straight talk about youth sports, training younger athletes and adults, and life cuts through the noise. It's not just about stronger athletes. It's about stronger people, families, and communities. Inspired by Zach's message, I've purchased his Bodyweight Bodybuilding program. We're just talking about it, and already started applying it. Once a week, I work with my 20-year-old twins with special needs at Phoenix Fitness in Staten Island, New York. This is great. During their group fitness class. And I've been able to incorporate so much of what I've learned from this podcast into those sessions. Seeing them respond to the principles that Zach teaches has been incredibly, deeply rewarding. Looking ahead, I'm motivated to take what I've learned, live it consistently, and maybe even coach in the future, helping others build strength in the right way. Thank you, Zach, for helping me realize my best days are ahead and better equipping me to help others reach theirs too. I love this. So I want to say this. Screenshot that. Also, well, you already have Bodyweight Bodybuilding. So again, go to undergroundstrengthcert.com and guys, get your 2 free training videos. And then, of course, we hope you get certified. I'm out of here. Crush the 5-star reviews, and I'll see you at the Underground Strength Con mid-November. Do not miss it. I'm out of here.